Welcome to Serenity Rising Healing with Cancer. I'm Bron and I want to welcome you to not just a podcast, but to a community, a new way of seeing, feeling and walking through the chaos of cancer. Hello and welcome back to Serenity Rising. I'm so glad you're here today. This episode is a little different to what you've listened to. It's the fourth part of our series. It's a listener Q&A. Over the past few weeks, many of you have shared your questions, your reflections, and your stories with me. And today, I want to take a little time to respond. Think of this as us sitting, having a cuppa. Have you tried apple tea? It's amazing. We're talking honestly about the real challenges and the quiet wins of living with and beyond cancer. If you're new to Serenity Rising, this space is all about finding calm in the chaos of cancer. It's not about fighting or striving to be endlessly positive. It's about following your inner compass that helps you return to healing again and again and again. My hope for today's episode is that it feels supportive and spacious, not another list of things for you to do or you should be doing. I'll be answering a handful of questions that have come up, often in our community, and sharing a mix of lived experience, evidence-backed research, practical tools, and gentle reminders that your healing matters every single day. So take a deep breath with me, let your shoulders drop, and let's begin. Here is the first question. Sometimes I feel so alone in this journey. How do I find connection when people around me just don't understand? Or worse, want to tell me how good I look and everything is going to be just fine. Alrighty, now this is a good one. Love that this was asked because feeling alone while everyone says you look amazing or you look great is so common, but so painful at times. You're not imagining it and you're not doing anything wrong. So what's going on here? Your needs and their support are not matching. Most people offer pep talks. You'll be fine when what you need is some presence, some validation, or some practical help. In research, this is called the optimal matching idea. Support only helps if it matches what you actually need. Otherwise, it can make you feel even more alone. Well phrases can shut you down. When friends minimize or rush your feeling, it creates strain. You learn it's safer to keep things inside, stay quiet, and say what that person in front of you wants to hear. There is research out there that shows that this strain of what is called constraints are strongly linked with higher distress in people living beyond cancer. And would you believe it, more impactful than the absence of any support at all. You look well equals I feel well. Many cancer treatment side effects, fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, they're all invisible. That gap between appearance and lived reality is well documented. You know, the one where things just drop in your gut when you realize they don't get it. Okay, there is a couple of things you can do in these situations. Connection doesn't have to be deep to help. Small, ordinary, shallow chats can soothe your nervous system. In research, this is known as relational regulation theory. Everyday chats and simply shared moments balance mood and reduce distress. Why people default to positive vibes is because it often protects them from their discomfort. When things like that are said, it's their awkward or discomfort. It has nothing whatsoever to do with you. And the studies show that unsupportive support, fixing, silver lining, even avoiding saying anything at all, can increase distress for people who are unwell. You're not too sensitive. Those responses can really hurt, or lack of responses. Because if the truth be told, all it takes is acknowledgement, plain and simple. With that said, the one thing I do here is find compassion for that person because they are doing the very best they can with what they have. And for some people, emotional intelligence is just simply not there. But why does this matter? Because feeling lonely in healing with cancer isn't just being uncomfortable. It can actually affect your health. Research shows that isolation and being misunderstood add extra stress to your body, which can drain your energy and make it harder to cope with day-to-day activities. But on the flip side, even small, genuine moments of connection, like someone really listening or a simple thinking of you text, can make all the difference. So let's talk a few practical, zero-cost, low-effort things that you can do to help. There's no apps, no money, and just gentle words that protect your energy. So let's talk a practical, zero-cost, low-effort things that you can do that require no apps, no money, but maybe just some gentle words that protect your energy, because energy is finite. So tip number 1, say what you need. We call it a one-sentence ask. When someone says, "You look great, everything will be fine," try a compassionate reset. "Thanks for caring. What helps me most today is listening, not fixing. Could you just sit with me for a couple of minutes?" This aligns with what you need with what they offer. That matching bit we were talking about before. And most people respond well when you make it easy. Asking for help is one of the hardest things to do for some of us, especially me sometimes. When you've always been the strong one, the carer, or the organizer, it can feel exposing or like you're burdening someone else, and it might not feel very right. But here's the truth. Most people want to help. They just don't know how. Letting them in, whether it's to drop off a meal, send a text, or simply sit beside you, gives them a gift too. It lets them feel useful and connected, and it reminds you that you don't have to carry it all on your own as well. It wasn't until the second diagnosis that I had no choice, because I needed help. My family needed help, and letting go of the control of being the strong one was one of the best lessons I've ever learnt in this healing path of living with cancer. You know, I can remember back when a dear friend of mine made us dinner. She came to the front door with this carry bag of food bulging over the top without even taking a step into the house. I stood there in a bit of shock that someone could be so thoughtful and kind, especially when it was our teen's favourite meal. They didn't come inside. They didn't ask for anything. They just said, "Bron, this is for you." It was a selfless drop and run, and something I will be forever grateful for. I must say I shed quite a few tears. Alrighty, tip number 2, use a micro update to reduce awkward chats. So think micro sentences with a clear purpose and outcome. Quick update, "I'm okay today, just tired." If you're up for it, a thinking of you text means a lot. Not looking for advice, just company. This lowers social pressure by telling people how to show up, so you don't have to feel or explain yourself or that overwhelm when you get asked the same questions 1,000 times. Tip number 3, make a 60-second ordinary connection. Pick a person, a neighbour, a friend, a colleague, a cousin, and send one simple non-cancer text. "What's the sky doing over where you are today?" Or share a photo of your cuppa. Just a tiny ordinary moment to regulate the mood more than we realise. When conversation gets heavy and it's hard to articulate your feelings and it sucks all of the energy you don't have, these ordinary moments do wonders to the soul. And the research backs us up. Send that meme, share a post you've loved online. Keep it light, keep it ordinary, and know that it's giving your brain the good vibes that you do need. Question number 2, how do I support my loved one without saying or doing the wrong thing? What a great question. Being a caregiver is both an act of love and a heavy responsibility. These angels are often called invisible patients in cancer because while the spotlight is on the one who has the diagnosis, caregivers quietly carry an enormous load. Paul and I call what is happening in our house, it's a family affair. We're all in it together. Kids, dogs, Paul and I, because of the emotional load. Caregivers often feel fear, sadness, and helplessness. They want to fix things but can't, and that they can come out in many, many different behaviours. Studies show caregivers can experience equal or even higher levels of distress than the patient themselves. When I was diagnosed in 2023, Paul, who is usually busy and loves to get shit done around the house, went into overdrive. And watching him literally buzz around the house was extremely hard for me to watch. And he must have been completely exhausted at that time. because our roles had changed. Overnight, many partners, children, friends, family shift from being companions to organisers, advocates, or even medical coordinators. This change can cause strain on identity and relationships. Not every caregiver wants to be this person. Paul and I often talk about this because either people step up or they step out, which can be very sad to watch and see because there can be communication challenges. Caregivers often second guess their words. They worry about being too positive, too negative, or saying the wrong thing. Now, this is normal, but it can make conversations feel like walking on eggshells. Like any trauma, it brings out the best or the worst at times. Add through medication changes, oh boy. Because at its core, being a caregiver means living in two worlds, carrying your own emotions while also trying to create a safe space for your loved one. Because understanding why this matters a lot. The way you show up as a caregiver has a profound impact. The research shows that when people with cancer feel understood and supported, they report less anxiety, lower distress, and even a better quality of life. But on the flip side, it matters for you too. Caregiving is emotionally and physically demanding. If you feel like you have to get it right, every time the pressure can turn quickly into burnout. Because remember, support isn't about being perfect. It's about being present, consistent, and real. Alrighty, a couple of zero-cost tips. Let's go. Tip number 1, listen without fixing. When your loved one shares something hard, resist the urge to jump in with reassurance or solutions. Instead, try reflecting back. That sounds really tough. I hear you. A simple validation makes people feel safe and seen. I can't support this tip enough. And as the one who needs the care, Paul is my rock. I call him Uber. When I was in the thick of treatment prior to the stem cell transplant, I was so sick from the medications with all the side effects. I couldn't do much at all. Paul literally picked up everything that I couldn't. He became my Uber driver, the Uber delivery guy, the Uber kid transport, and everything in between from A to Z. Hence, he's now known to the world as my Uber. When it comes to listening without fixing, we need to make sure we are clear on what we need and what we don't need, because it takes a village to get through this, whether it's a village of 2 or 20. Acknowledgement is the best tip I can give you here. Tip number 2, offer choices instead of assumptions. Instead of guessing what your loved one needs, try something like this. Do you want company right now, or would you like some space? Would it help if I listened, or would it help if we brainstorm together? This removes pressure and gives them control in a world where so much feels out of their hands. This is the gold right there. Tip number 3, be consistent in small ways. Healing doesn't always come from grand gestures. It's often the little steady things that matter most. A daily text, a photo of something ordinary, or making their favourite cuppa builds trust and connection over time. Because sometime as a caregiver, you may not even be living in the same house. Okay, on to our third question. Now, this is a big one. How do I live with the uncertainty when there are no guarantees? Uncertainty is one of the hardest parts of living with cancer, whether it's curable, chronic, or incurable. The truth is, uncertainty is built into the experience. Researchers described how, when test results change or treatment plans shift, our brains scramble to fill the gaps. That's not you failing to cope. That's your nervous system doing what it does when the future feels shaky. In fact, it's actually quite normal, even though it feels like total chaos. For me, the free fall following the diagnosis was just as bad as this question. My doctor calls the path I'm on a marathon. And over the past few years, I get it. Some of us also find not knowing especially tough. At times, especially, that's me. Psychologists call this the intolerance of uncertainty. In cancer, that often shows up as scanning every ache for danger or imagining the worst-case scenarios. The more we try to push those fears away, the stronger they seem to return. This is what we call projection at its finest. And yet, there's another layer here. Alongside fear and grief, many people also described unexpected shifts, finding new meaning, deeper relationships, or even a stronger sense of self. Researchers call this post-traumatic growth. It doesn't cancel out pain, but it reminds us that growth and grief can walk side by side. In fact, meaning making is one of the most powerful ways people soften the impact of uncertainty. So why does this matter? Uncertainty, left unattended, can quietly shrink your world. Think of a beautiful garden left to the elements. No fertilizer, no weeding, no love. What happens? It overgrows, the plants are overrun by the weeds, and that is exactly the same here. It can stop you from planning holidays, enjoying small pleasures, or trusting your own body. But when you name it, allow it, and find ways to walk alongside it, uncertainty can become less of a wall and more of a companion. You learn to live with it, but think of it like that annoying person who just won't go away, but isn't really fun either. And here's the hopeful part. The same research that tells us uncertainty is invaluable. And here's the hopeful part. The same research that tells us uncertainty is inevitable also shows us that people can grow through it, not by toxic positivity or pretending everything is fine, but by paying attention to what matters most in the face of what we can't control. Post-traumatic growth is real and relevant to all of us who have ever been through any sort of trauma. Alrighty, our 3 zero-cost things you can do in the moment. Here's the first one. Name, normalize, next step. It's a 3-step quick and easy reset. Name it. This is uncertainty talking. Normalize it. It makes sense. I feel this. Cancer is unpredictable. Next step. What tiny action can I take right now that matters to me? Text a friend. Step outside. Make a cup of tea. Think of the serenity moments. That's all we need here, not to solve the world's problems, just this small one. The Serenity Now cards are designed for exactly this situation. Alrighty, tip number 2, the 3x3 grounding. When things get a little hectic, this little beauty is a great tool. Slow out breaths. Notice 3 things you can see, 3 things you can touch, and 3 things that you can hear. This pulls you gently back from what if into what is, aka serenity right there. Tip number 3, the 2 circles practice. I'd like you to draw 2 circles, a small one for things you can influence today and a bigger one for the what's out of your control. Place 1 or 2 things into each circle. Write a few things in each circle. For many of us, we're visual learners, which means we need to see things. When the 2 circles are right in front of you and when you take a moment to actively talk yourself through the serenity prayer, this can be a very powerful and stop those nasty thoughts in their tracks. And notice what I said there. Today, not tomorrow or next week or next year. I want you to stick just to today, my friends. God, grant me the serenity to accept what I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And as I always say, swap out the word God to whatever you believe in, the universe, source, spirit, or even Dennis. You choose because it's your serenity. You don't need guarantees to live a meaningful day. Uncertainty and serenity can coexist. And sometimes, out of the hardest moments, we discover new strength, new clarity, and unexpected growth. And because this idea of post-traumatic growth is so powerful, I'll be doing a full episode soon with my very dear friend and psychologist, Dr. Natalie Green, where we'll go deeper into how growth and grief can live side by side. Thanks so much for your support and your questions. Keep them coming in. You'll find any links in the show notes below. There's a link there for fan list. Give me a voice memo. I'd love to hear your questions and your feedback. And as I always say, go and be great, my friends, where every moment matters, where moments make memories, and let's make every day count. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been great having you here. And what I would love you to do is leave a comment or ask a question using my fan link below this episode and on every episode that we post. I would love to hear your thoughts, your questions, and I'll get back to you. Have a great day and bye for now.